Hello everyone, welcome in. This is part 4 of my embodiment series that I've been doing. So this will be the final number 4 of part 4. So this will be the final one for this series. And then we'll see what we'll kick off, maybe during December. We'll see how we go. So yeah, welcome in everyone. If you are watching live, comment in, say where you're from, your name. And if you are watching the replay, comment replay. I'd love to hear how this lands for you and also what your experiences with these things are. And yeah, definitely let me know. So I thought it would be a fun topic to talk about New Year's resolutions, setting goals, specifically for highly sensitive and neurodivergent women, and why traditional ways of reaching our goals doesn't seem to work for us, and what to do instead. So obviously it's getting that time of year. Silly season is just around the corner, so our brains are already trying to wrap up for the year, also trying to finalize all our plans for Christmas and think about goals for next year and everything we want to do. So I thought it would be a really fun idea to do this, talk about embodiment and talk about how we can set ourselves up for next year, for the future, and just in general. So let's talk about, I've identified 4 reasons why traditional New Year's resolutions don't work for ADHD, ADHD, hypersensitive women. So let's talk about the 4 reasons. Number 1, they're built from pressure and not embodiment. Number 2, they're built from an already dysregulated nervous system and not inner safety and self-trust. 3, they require discipline, and you're already in survival mode, and we'll talk a little bit more about discipline and why traditional discipline by itself doesn't work a bit later on in the video. And also number 4, they're based in identity, and you haven't had that identity upgrade yet. You haven't done that identity work yet. So 1, built from pressure, not embodiment. 2, built from a dysregulated nervous system. Number 3, they require discipline. And number 4, they're identity-based goals. So let's talk about the first one, built from pressure, not embodiment. So usually when we set our goals, we are always thinking about the external results. I want to lose 5 kilos, or, I want to stick to this budget. I want to get better at saving money. So here's my budget. I need to stick to this strict, rigid budget. I want to be more productive. I want to do X, Y, and Z. What I want to challenge you around with this, and we touched on this a little bit in the last episode, but what I want to have your mindset shift around is what you're not really craving is not that external result, but what you're really wanting is a transformation in how you feel. How you feel within your body, how you feel about yourself, that self-trust, the inner peace, that groundedness, the knowledge that you have your own back, that you can set the direction of your life, that you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So sometimes when we set goals, we are really, really focused on the external result and not really focused about the internal work, the capacity building, the nervous system capacity building, and all of those things. So when your goals come from like the should energy, I should drink more water, I should do this, I should do that. What we're really doing is essentially your nervous system just is going to reject them. Because discipline and shoulds, first of all, by themselves don't just work for ADHD. So this could look like, example, I'm going to work out 5 times this week. So you're looking at the external result rather than embodying and becoming the person who can do that thing, okay? So your body and your nervous system doesn't yet know the difference between that pressure and the truth of who you are. So when we're setting your goals, so let's talk about the second point. The second point is you're building from an already dysregulated nervous system and not from inner safety and self-trust. So when you're already overwhelmed, when you're already anxious, when you're already in a dysregulated state, it's trying to build a house on shaky ground. It's not going to work. So if you're in the fight, flight, or freeze response, you can't access clarity. You can't access your intuition. You can't access your inner guidance system. And any of the things that you set out for yourself aren't going to be sustainable. Yeah, they're not going to be sustainable because they're built from an external goal. They're also built from a version of you who you haven't yet met. You haven't yet got the feedback that that's who you are. You haven't yet done the inner work to tell you that this is who you are and it's safe to be this person. It's safe to do these things. Okay, so the third reason is that they're built on discipline. And again, we spoke a little bit about discipline, or rather consistency, in my last video, and I feel like they're pretty closely the same. So when they require discipline, but your body is still in survival mode, or you have a dysregulated nervous system, as us ADHD and highly sensitive girls tend to often have, unless we do the embodiment work, you can't execute day after day after day after day discipline when you're already in survival mode of specifically of something that requires you to have an identity shift. Because if you need to become a new person by doing X, Y, and Z, survival mode brain is just not going to allow that to happen, because everything you've done up until this point has kept you safe, it has kept you alive, it's kept you going, and that is your nervous system's pretty much only goal. Okay, so let's talk about our brains and the dopamine. ADHD brains have 30 to 50% less dopamine available than neurotypical brains. So when we don't have that dopamine, we have difficulty feeling pleasure and joy, groundedness, safety, all of those things. That's why we have a higher rate of addiction and, overeating and da-da-da-da-da-da. So first of all, we have the lack of dopamine. So trying to use discipline when you've already got depleted dopamine, it only worsens the dysregulation. It doesn't help when you are trying to push through, and then you're not able to meet up, and then we have that shame, we have that guilt that we weren't able to do the things that we wanted to do for ourselves. Again, but it's because we need to flip things around. When you have an ADHD or ADHD brain, you need to actually do things differently. You were not designed, your brain was not designed, your nervous system was not designed to do things in the traditional way. So, first of all, as I said, low dopamine. The next reason is the nervous system trap. We have higher sensory input that we're processing at all points of the day. Your sensory inputs are much higher. You're processing information much faster, much more information and much faster. All of your senses. We don't tune out as much. We don't have that capability to kind of disconnect from certain things. We are processing everything, all the smells, all the sounds, all the everything in the air, all the different sensory inputs, your jacket feels, how that feels. On top of that, you're also, because you're highly sensitive and most likely an empath, you're processing everyone else's emotions around you. You're in this kind of hypervigilant state of processing what this person is thinking and how that person is thinking and how this person is responding to you. So when you have all of this extra sensory input coming in and the less dopamine, you just have to process a lot more, okay? So then you've got the chronic overwhelm, the hypervigilance, the always having to process so much information at one time. So just adding push through and be consistent and be disciplined, it just dysregulates you further. It just dysregulates you further. It just makes you feel shame, makes you feel guilt, makes you do all of those things and going around in that shame cycle and then setting the new goals and you might know how this process goes. I'm talking from a place of, I've experienced this, okay, a lot. And this is one of the reasons why I am doing this work. Okay, so you end straight back to square one, fight, flight, and freeze response. Maybe the fight response to you looks like self-criticism. You're this, you're that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you always fall through, you can't follow through, da 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 da. That's actually the fight response. The flight response is avoidance, procrastination, overwhelm. Okay? Or could be the freeze response, just complete paralysis, bed rotting, laying in bed all day, complete shutdown. Okay? So these are all ways of your nervous system to protect yourself. This is what we need to understand about our nervous system. It's always trying to keep us safe. It's not built for to be highly successful. It's not built for you to be changing all the time, in a certain sense. And then, so let's talk about the self-trust wound. Okay, every time you fail at a discipline-based goal, your body, your nervous system learns that we can't trust ourselves, that we can't follow through, that we are untrustworthy, that we are lazy, X, Y, and Z, fill in the blanks, whatever that is for you. So then we have a self-trust wound. So it can't just be about willpower. When we keep focusing on the willpower, you repeat that, it ends up self-trust wound and self-abandonment. Thank you for that thumbs up. Say hello if you're tuning in, and say where you're from. So that is all stored in your nervous system. That is all stored in your body. Every time you've made a plan for yourself, didn't follow through, you've broken a promise, you've pushed through exhaustion, that's all remembered and stored in your nervous system. And then you've kind of got that double-edged sword as well, don't we? If you're highly sensitive and ADHD or ADHD, your brain needs novelty, it needs stimulation, and it needs interest. But then highly sensitive, you also need slowness and softness and relaxation and time to integrate and time to ground yourself and all of those things. So you're simultaneously overstimulated and understimulated. You're simultaneously overwhelmed and underwhelmed. Okay? So any traditional productivity systems based on discipline, willpower, they ignore these things. And these are very real things that happen in the brain that can be measured. Okay? Sorry, give me one sec. So again, this isn't self-sabotage coming from a place of self-hate or any of those kind of things. It's just self-protection. So your body is going to want to go into shutdown and procrastinate and feel overwhelmed before you have a burnout, before you go into a full meltdown stage. So it's protecting you, okay? All right, number 4. They're identity-based goals. What does that mean? You are setting goals that requires you to have a new identity to what you already believe yourself to be. So you're setting goals that require you to be consistent, disciplined, X, Y, Z. But your body, your nervous system has proven to itself, hi Mary Lou, thanks for tuning in. Your body, your nervous system has proven to itself that you're not consistent, you're not disciplined, you can't follow through. So there's an identity gap, okay? You're trying to create behaviors from an identity that you've not proven to yourself that you are yet, that you haven't found that, what's the word I'm looking for? You haven't found the evidence of yet, okay? So if your nervous system sees you as the anxious one, as the overwhelmed one, as the XYZ, you're not going to be able to keep that up. You need to do the internal, the subconscious mindset shifts and identity shifts first, rather than just trying to do the action while your nervous system still believes that that's not possible for you. So at any given point, if there's something that you want for yourself and something that you don't believe is true, can be true for you, then there's a misalignment. So somehow, some way, by doing our identity shift, we need to shift the identity first before we try to do the action. So that's what I said. When you're ADHD neurodivergent, you have to do things the other way around. Traditionally, you would do the action, you would stay disciplined, you would stay focused, you would do the same thing day in and day out, one day after another, and then you would build over time the identity of that person. When you have ADHD, you really need to do it the other way around. Build the identity first, which sounds impossible, but there's definitely ways to do it, and this is what I practice. All right. So what I want to challenge you with is not what you want is, another productivity system, another planner, another diet, anything like that. What you want is to feel safe and secure and trusting in your own body. You want to have that relationship with yourself that you're a safe person and you're a person who can lead and guide your own life. You trust your inner guidance system. You trust your skills. You trust your capabilities. You trust in the universe. You trust God. Okay? That's what you want, because any external goal or achievement is fine, but you will find, and I've studied this, about how many people feel like I will be happy when I get X. I will feel safe when I get Y. I will have self-love when I do Z. And people get those things and they still find that they're unhappy and they don't feel grounded. They don't feel happy. They don't feel safe inside of their own body and inside of their own life and in their situation, even once they've gotten all the things. So no matter where you go, what you accomplish, what you do in your life, you are always going to be with yourself. And that's why being with yourself, learning to be with yourself and learning to love yourself and feel safe within yourself and feel guided by yourself is the most important work you can do. And it's not just for you, it actually emanates out and positively affects the other people around you. It helps in your relationships when you're not coming from that scarcity mindset or unsafe or dysregulated place and kind of needing validation from other people all the time. Okay, so it helps with everything, your relationships, your finances, your spirituality, every area of life. You've only got yourself is going to be there at every single point in your life. Okay. Is there anything else I want to touch on here? Okay, I've just got my notes. Okay, so having that, I'll just wrap up with that. Having that safe relationship with yourself requires nervous system work, capacity building, nervous system capacity, and it needs embodiment. And starting with discipline and consistency first, without those things, you're going to come up against a wall. So the path of embodiment. So this is what actually works instead, what to do instead. So you can't become her from a dysregulated place. Overwhelm, anxiety, self-criticism, da-da-da-da. You have to become her, your next 2.0 version of yourself, whatever goal you set for yourself, however you envision your life, however you envision yourself. That needs to come from a regulated state. There are things that you do need to do. There are practices that you do need to do. But I promise you, if I can do them, you can do them too, because they are based in pleasure. They are not like kind of eat the frog type situations. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Like, do the hard thing first. It's not that. It's based in pleasure and joy. So it's ADHD friendly in that way, okay? So you need to build trust and safety in your nervous system, in your body. So this can look like grounding work, from breath work, movement, tuning into your body's signals and honoring your body's signals. Anything from hunger cues, anything from tired, I need to take a break, I need to take a rest, I need to take a sick day off work. honoring your internal cues, your body's cues, and actually following through with that. I know that can be hard in some points, but I think a lot of it does come down to, if we take a break, or if I do this or if I do that, I'll be fired from work. This person won't approve of me, that person won't. So we need to stop worrying about what other people think of us, as in stop people pleasing in that way, and really prioritize our energy as ADHD people or as highly sensitive people. Okay. Learning to listen to your body's cues and responding to them is how you build self-trust. Because if your body's telling you you're hungry and you ignore it for the next 7 hours while you're hyper-focusing and doing something else, your body's gonna, you're gonna get a disconnection. If you do that enough, if you stop responding to your internal guidance system, and that your guidance system has a wide range of things, intuition, subtle cues, all of those things. If you get a guidance from your internal system and you ignore it, and you ignore it again, and you ignore it again, and you push through and you ignore it again, at a certain point, your body, there's a disconnection. You stop listening to it, so it stops giving you don't respond to it, so why would it give you those cues? If you don't respond, eventually it just goes, all right, whatever then. So that's how, when you're dysregulated, you can become disconnected from your body, not even knowing when you need to pee sometimes, because you have ignored your inner guidance so many times. So you've been too busy, and this is, I say this with so much love, this is absolutely not attacking in any way. I hope it's never coming across that way. But that's what happens when we don't respond to our internal guidance system. It stops giving the signals, and then there's a disconnect between mind and body. And we need that connection between mind and body so that we can, it's our guidance system, so that we can move through the world calmly and effectively, and not just running on what we should be doing, because those shoulds are not the life for us. It's not the life for me. I don't know about you guys. Okay. Okay, so that's how you build self-trust, inner guidance, and responding to your inner guidance system. Okay. Balancing the nervous system, embodiment, responding to your inner guidance. And then I spoke about changing your identity, the subconscious beliefs you have about yourself. Okie dokie. Is there anything I want to say here? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I can keep going. So in the last one, I spoke about rhythm. So instead of forcing yourself to be consistent, to be disciplined and do the same things day in, day out, and working on that solar 24-hour clock and the 9 to 5 and, you know, all of that stuff that is designed for all of us. But I'm sorry, but it wasn't designed for us. And we keep trying to push ourselves into it. Sometimes we don't have a choice. But what I'm trying to say is, as much as possible, to what your life and capacity can allow right now, is to understand, first of all, that you are a cyclical being as a woman. You're not, your body, just as a woman without anything else, is based on a 28-day or lunar cycle. It's not based on the 9 to 5 morning sunset. A man's energy system, testosterone peaks first thing in the morning and then slowly starts to wane in the night. And so a man is designed for a 9 to 5, 24-hour system and a calendar. We are not, as women, first thing. Second thing, when you have ADHD, again, your brain is not set up to think linearly all the time. It's built for rhythm. It's built for bursts of intensity. It's built for ideas. It's built for inspiration. It's built for cycles and, waves and ebbs and flows. And that is so okay. The problem is that not that that's a problem. It's that our society doesn't usually accommodate for that unless we make our own accommodations. Okay, so you need to advocate for yourself. Learn to advocate for yourself. Understand your brain, your body, your nervous system and what it really needs, and advocate for yourself and put systems into place that are going to support that. Because we are not, again, we can't just operate in discipline and consistency all the time. The systems need to carry us and our energy and everything. So you need the right systems to carry your rhythmic, cyclical nature. Let me give you just one quick instance of how you can do this. So rhythmically, cyclically as a woman, you know, I said we're based on our cycle. This is true if you still have an active cycle, or if you're postmenopausal, if you no longer get your period, you can still use these cycles. You use the lunar, you use the moon, new moon, full moon, Okay, so you understand what your energy is like in the four kind of sections of the cycle. You understand what your energy is optimized for. During your period, it's a time of going inward, self-reflection, introspection, all of those things. When you're ovulating, you can jump on camera, you can do your meetings face-to-face, So one thing, this is one reason I'm working to set this business up for myself, is because I can try to batch my content at a certain point when I want to write out all my long form posts that require a certain amount of like focused and internalization. I can do that during my period. When I need to show up on camera and be glowy and this and that, I can do that during my ovulation. Okay, so this will look different for you in how your life is at the moment, but there's always opportunities to go, no, today's a lower energy day, I'm going to slow down today, or today's a high energy day, I'm going to go for it. Okay, just seeing if there's any. Okay, all right, so in whatever your capacity is to do that at the moment, there's always ways that you can understand your rhythmic nature and allow that in some capacity. Okay, okie dokie. How are we going for time? Okay, I don't want it to get too long. I wanted to give you an option of how you start to visualize and become your new 2.0 version of yourself in that inverted way that I was talking about before. I was going to go through a little bit of a meditation visualization, but I might not do that here today. But if you want to start getting an understanding of how to do that, don't forget I've got my Future Self Embodiment meditation. You'll find that in the group. If you're not yet on the group, just send me a message and I'll send you over there, and it's linked in the welcome. Or you can just send me a DM and I'll just send you the meditation straight away. All right. So this is going to help you visualize your next version of yourself, how you want your life to be, what you want your life to look like, what you want your relationship with yourself to look like. Okay. And then you can start collapsing timelines. You can start becoming her without, it's a bit of a complex topic, but you don't have to just do the action. You can tell your subconscious mind and retrain your identity, and find, what do you call it? What's the word? Come on, brain. You can find the, what's it called, guys? Help me out. I can't think of the word. The evidence. You can find the evidence before you have the evidence, essentially. It's like that. You get the evidence, you tell your mind, your brain, your body, your nervous system. You show it the evidence before having the evidence of showing up daily, doing the same thing every day, being disciplined. You can find the evidence of the result and the evidence of the discipline before having it. I love it. I love it. It's such a cheat code. Okay, so reconnecting to your internal guidance system, that inner compass, trusting your inner compass, trusting your nervous, not trusting your nervous system, expanding your nervous system, building capacity over time, becoming more regulated. You're not functioning optimally if you have a dysregulated nervous system. And if you have ADHD, you are likely to regularly have a dysregulated nervous system unless you do the nervous system regulation work. And there is work to be done, but I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it. And it's a practice. It is a practice. I would consider myself quite high up on the ADHD spectrum. Like I have that very visible, if you know me, ADHD, like from being very small, you know, like, why do you always lose things? Why can't you remember things? Like I would consider myself quite high up on the spectrum of ADHD. So keep that in mind. All right, is there anything else I want to talk about here? So this is the path of going from anxiety, overwhelm, self-criticism, overstimulation, overwhelm, back into embodiment, self-trust, inner safety. This is the system. Okay, and this is also, how we set goals, how we structure our life, what kind of systems we create for our life that are going to hold us and carry us through the low energy times. Okay, there's a few different components there. Identity work, embodiment and nervous system regulation, and tuning up to our inner guidance and the right system. Getting the right systems, the right support, the right accountability. I don't want to talk too much about like productivity systems for ADHD. There's a lot of things out there for that, you know, body doubling and this and that and the other. This is not so much that. It's definitely more based in neuroscience of identity work, self-regulation and all those things. Okay, loves, I think that's it for today. I want to wish everybody, so this is, as I said, this is my last video for this series. I'll probably take a week or two off and really integrate. I have done a lot of capacity building, nervous system stretching myself, coming on live and showing up so regularly on social media. It was always something that I struggled with. It was always something that I knew that I wanted to do, but it was so hard for me. My nervous system just was like, you'll die. You'll just die if you do that. So I have been working on my own embodiment. I have really stretched my nervous system, my capacity to do more, to be seen more, to be heard more, all of those things. I have really stretched my nervous system, and now I'm going to practice as I preach, and I'm going to come back and integrate and come back inwards a little bit. Okay, so I'm still available for you guys to message me. I do have something coming on Monday as well, so watch out for Monday because I'm still going to be offering my 3 more spots. I'm only offering 3 more spots left, and that's going to start on Monday. So watch out if this is something that you're interested in. If you already know this is something that you want to do, go ahead and send me a DM. Otherwise, and I would love to hear how this landed for you. I would love to hear if you do the meditation and what your experiences are with discipline and all of those things and working in the traditional 9-to-5 patriarchal system. All right, ladies, I wish you all the best for your New Year's. Happy New Year's. I know it's very early to be saying that. But I am wishing you so much love for this season and into 2026. Can you believe it's already coming so soon? Don't forget, I will still be in the Facebook group. I'll still be sending messages, but I'm just going to be withdrawing a little bit now. All right, ladies, have a beautiful day.